You know, just about every year, the whole world stops and mourns for the Americans, for the 3,000 who died on 9/11, which is fine. But who mourns for the millions of victims of America's war on terror? Is anyone going to write books and make Hollywood movies and tell their stories the same way? How can people after 20 years still not see the truth? That this tragedy on 9/11 was used by politicians like Bush and Blair to justify horrific, endless wars. You want to talk about terrorism? Just look at what they did to the Middle East. Where has it gone? Where did all these millions of refugees come from? Why are there so many people dead? What on earth have they done? How many 9/11s has Afghanistan had? How many 9/11s has Iraq had? How many 9/11s have Syria, Libya, Somalia, Yemen had? Does their suffering not count as well? These people had nothing to do with 9/11, just like those 3,000 Americans had nothing to do with U.S. foreign policy. And then they talk about democracy and freedom. How are you going to do that? By dropping bombs? Look at the aftermath. What happened on 9/11 doesn't even come close to the amount of death and destruction that the West has brought to the Middle East. Nothing is the same since 9/11. And if America has had time to heal, Arabs and Muslims have not even begun to recover. Sure, these countries were not perfect, but they damn sure were not like this. We were good in 2001. There were no slave markets in Libya or car bombs in Iraq or Daesh in Syria. How can you say you're fighting terrorism and then you bring us more terrorism? How does that make you any better than the terrorists on 9/11? You're not only doing the same thing, you're doing it on an even bigger scale. And why? Also, a handful of corporations can make some money. And 9/11 is what they used to justify it and pull wool over your eyes. And even those Americans who thought, oh, we're going to go to Iraq and we're going to go to all these countries and give them democracy and freedom, they lost their own freedom. Look at the Patriot Act. Look at the mass surveillance. Look how they completely screwed you and eroded your civil rights and took away your freedoms in the name of fighting terrorism. You got more veterans committing suicide than troops who died in combat. But in the end, it's majoritarily Arabs and Muslims who paid the price. It's mostly innocent civilians who paid the price. And you will too, everyone will, when they eventually start their domestic war on terror. The real terrorists have always been in DC and Whitehall. How many wars will it take before people wake up?